Hello everyone, I'm going to be going over the new Aries.net with you guys in this video. What I'm doing is just going over the basics right now. All the intricate creative things you can do will be gone over later. We will also have resources available to you, PDFs, possibly additional videos, but you can also go to Aries.com, Aries spelled like that.com, and their website, they have training, they have resources available on there as well as if you are still stuck and need specific questions, aside from the training that we'll be doing, you can always get in touch with Keen Masawa, Farah Rigowit, Craig Lindemulder, or myself, Michael Rowland. So, again, just the basics for this video, just so when you first access it, you can do simple things like taking attendance and adding your grade books and creating assignments and inputting grades. So, without further ado, when you first log in, this will be the first screen you see. If you need to search for a specific student, you can search for them here. You can also click on this hourglass and search for them in this area. But let's go to taking attendance. So you may have already seen it already. Right over here on the left is attendance. So I'm going to click there. This should be a somewhat familiar view. So, but there are a couple changes, actually much more convenient changes. So let's say, and again, similarly to the old areas, whatever time of the day it is, let's say if you're in the middle of fourth period, the period that will automatically show up here when you go to click on attendance will show up. So right now, this is assuming that it's first period. So let's say I look around the classroom and I say, oh, everybody's here. So I'm going to mark all students as present. Now, but let's say, oh, wait, I'm going to take that off for the time being. Let's say I'm looking around and, oh wait, Jason Baca is absent. So I'm going to click him as absent. Now what you've seen is when I click absent, it automatically saves it. I don't need to click absent and then go down and click submit. It does it automatically for me. Let's say Jason walks in 15 minutes late and he's got an unexcused tardy slip. So I'm going to change that from absent to tardy. And again, it does it automatically. No need to go back and click submit or anything like that. So it's nice and convenient. If you need to access student data, meaning things like if you need to call home, you need to get in touch with the parents, anything like that. By the way, this is all this is the Aries.com demo, so all this information is totally made up. So don't worry about putting personal information out there. So phone number, email, all that stuff should be here. If you need to look at what other classes they're taking, that stuff is located right here. You can also go to scheduling and classes, and you'll see that information here as well. One thing I forgot to show you, over on attendance, if you need to say, oh, well, actually, Desiree's been absent a lot lately. I wonder over how long of a period she's been absent like that. So to look at what is it? Attendance detail. There you go. And also, if you're like, what do all these codes and letters mean? Click on that. And again, this shouldn't be another familiar site. So this is where you can look at attendance history and also the legend for what all those letters mean. That's pretty much it for attendance. As far as the basics go, again, there's a lot more options here. A lot of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm just hitting the basics right now. So let's go to the gradebook. Now, if you are like me, and when you first found out that we're not going to be using EGP anymore, I was like, well, I'm going to use Aries ABI, because for me personally, I've used it before, and I'm familiar with it. So if you're like me and you'd been using Aries ABI all year, fortunately, all that information that I've uploaded, my assignments, my rubrics, my grades, everything automatically transferred over to the new Aries.net gradebook. But if you have not been using Aries ABI, that's perfectly okay, because I'm going to show you how to get it set up. So when you first log in, you should see a blank screen like this. So rather than adding grades, basically classes individually, let's just go to mass add gradebooks. So all your classes will show up here. I teach English 9 Honors, 9 CP, and 11 CP. So mine would reflect that. Yours should reflect what you're showing. So, but I'm going to ignore the teacher aid stuff for now. So I'm going to select these 2 American History classes and these 3 Honors World History classes. I'm going to hit next. Now our term should be automatically created. I'm not sure if it's going to be, but in case it isn't, you have term 1, 2, 3, 4, fall, spring, or year. We typically go by semesters, so that's kind of what fall and spring represent. So I'm going to select, and this will make it for all those grade books. I'm going to do fall, and create gradebooks, and now they will all populate here. Now the next thing I need to do is add some students. So add drop students, I'm going to go click on that box. It'll take me to here. When I click on first period, here are all the students that I need to add. Now you can click over on here underneath the action and add them individually, but believe me, that's not necessary. What you want to do is just add all students, unless for some specific reason you need to add them individually. But again, your rosters should be updated just as they are now in Aries when you take attendance. So finish adding these students. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's close that. So now you've got gradebooks. Now you've got students. Now we need to link gradebooks. Now, what this does, I teach 2 9 honors classes and 2 9 CP classes. So each of those honors classes and each of those CP classes, for the honors classes, if I'm doing assignments in one honors class, I'm probably doing those assignments in another honors class. But when I create an assignment for the honors class, it would be convenient if it would just automatically populate it to the other honors class. That's basically what this is doing. So you can group certain periods or certain classes together. To start off, when they are at 0, that means, as this indicates, they are ungrouped. But these are 2 American history classes, so I'm going to make these 2 group 1. And these are 3 honors world history classes, so I'm going to make these group 2. Because for these 2, I'm pretty much going to be creating the same grading categories and the same assignments, and the same goes for these 3 honors world history classes. So I'm going to save that. And if I go back to link gradebooks, you'll now see that they have been segregated into individual groups, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to go back to dashboard. Dashboard, by the way, is what brings you back to this screen. And I'll show you real quick. Tiles, list, and table are just 3 different options for viewing this stuff. So if you're in tiles, which apparently works best if you're using an iPad, you can click on details here, and that'll show you the the options there. Same thing with list. Details will be right here. But me personally, I like table because they're all there and all the options are right there. But that's just my preference. Okay, so now that I've linked gradebooks, now I need to add grading categories. So let's go over here. And most of us, if not all of us, do weighted scoring. So I need to add a new category. Let's say I'm just going to make this classwork / homework, and we'll call that 30% of the grade. So when I click off that, it's going to yell at me because it's not 100%. Please correct this immediately. So I'm going to add another category. We'll call this exams, and we'll make that the other 70%. And now it's 100%. Now it's not yelling at us anymore. And I'm going to save that. Now notice when I go back to my dashboard, it has changed from add categories to add assignments. And again, because periods 1 and 2 are linked, it's created the categories for period 2 as well. So let's do the same thing. I'm going to create categories for Honors World History period 3. When I'm done, it'll basically make those same categories for periods 4 and 6. So go to add categories, weighted scoring. And we'll do the same thing, just for example purposes. Make that 30%. And exams, the other 70%. Save, and voila. And there you go. Now that we've got our categories, that changes to add assignments. So I need to add some assignments. So let's go over here. Let's call this one... A lot of us, when we come back to school, at least me personally, just kind of a small, easy grade for students to get. I do bring classroom materials because for me, they need a spiral, they need certain things, so I make it an easy grade for them. You can add a description here. I'll say materials listed on syllabus /school wires. There we go. Formative, summative, you can select either option if you want. Here's where you can indicate which category it's going to be, classwork, homework, or exams. Those are what we just created. Extra credit. So I'll go over what these 2 mean in a second, but these are essentially the point values you're associating with that particular assignment. But if it's extra credit, it's going to eliminate that field because it automatically assumes that it is worth 0 points. And so if you give them 5 points out of 0, that's extra credit, okay? So, but this is not an extra credit assignment. Narrative grading, again, another cool feature, but that will be gone over later. Assigned on and due on, those are pretty self-explanatory. Click on the calendars, click when you assign the assignment and the due date. Now, number correct possible versus points possible. Let's say there are 5 things that I need them to bring. So I need them to bring something to write with, a notebook, they need highlighters, they need loose leaf paper, and they need a folder to store their English documents in. So that's 5 things. Now when I click off this, it's going to make it worth 5 points automatically. It just equals the number that you put in there. But let's say each thing that they bring is actually worth 2 points. So this is going to be a 10-point assignment. So similarly, if you gave out a quiz, and the quiz had 5 questions, but you wanted each question to be worth, say, we'll say worth 5 points. So it's a 5-question quiz, but it's worth 25 points. So let's say if you grade those quizzes, somebody gets 4 out of 5 correct, that means they got 20 out of 25 points. And again, you can customize those any which way you want, but that's kind of a simple explanation of what it means. So, but again, we'll just do 5 and 10. Grading completed, visible to portal, and score visible to portal. What these mean, basically all you need to know what portal is that is what students and parents access on their end when they look at their grades. So visible to portal, basically what that is when I create this assignment, that assignment is going to be visible to students and parents. So if you want to create an assignment but you don't want them to see it yet for whatever reason, just unclick that. But for the most part, me personally, as soon as I create an assignment, they can see it. Score visible to portal, what that is when you are inputting grades, as you input them, students and parents are able to see those scores. Now let's say if you don't want anybody to know their grade until you have finished grading everybody's, then you can unclick that so that as you're inputting grades, they will not see the scores. But again, if you don't care, if as you're inputting grades, if you don't care if people see their grades right away or later, doesn't matter, then just go ahead and click that one. Grading completed, basically what that means is as you're inputting grades, that is going to affect their overall grade for your class, okay? So what I typically do is I leave this unchecked because I kind of like to input the grades and make sure everything is correct and set before I have it affect their overall grade. So I'm going to leave that unchecked for now. But I'm going to go ahead and save and close this. So I've created my first assignment. And again, I created it for first period, but it will have also created it for this second period as well. So now I need to input grades. So I'm going to do edit scores by assignment. It's going to bring me to number 1, but you would, oh, sorry, not that one. Yeah, okay, if you do need to edit the assignment, just click on that, and that's where you can make edits. But all your other assignments will, again, I've only got the one, but they'll all show up on this little tab right here. But here is where I can go ahead and input it. So let's say Jason brought 4 out of 5. So here you go. He brought 4 out of 5. So there is that whole, well, he gets 8 points out of 10 points right there. But now let's say all my students were brilliant and they brought all their classroom materials on time. I'm going to do mass assigned values, which means I'm going to give everybody in the class the same grade, meaning because they all brought their assignments. So I will change number correct to 5 and override existing values because that's going to overwrite the 4 that I gave Jason. And now everybody's got 5 points, okay? But now, actually, let's say James right here did not bring his classroom materials. I'm going to take that away, and that's going to leave it blank. But now let's say, okay, everybody's done. No need to input any additional grades. Grading is completed. Now it is affecting everyone's grade permanently, including James right here. But let's say James was added later to the class, and I'm not going to do this assignment for him. I'm going to change this to NA, meaning it doesn't apply to him. Okay, or another option is TX, meaning temporarily excused. So it's like, okay, James, you don't need it right now, but you're going to need it in the near future. I'll give you 2 days. And if, let's say after those 2 days, James still did not bring in his classroom materials, then let's go ahead and take that out, and it shows as a missing assignment for him. And that's really it for attendance and gradebook. If you need to get back to the main menu, click on this little nav icon, or sometimes call that a hamburger. Click on that, click on home, and that brings you back to the main screen. So I hope this was helpful in getting you started. Again, if you have questions, please get in touch with Kim Masawa, Farah Rigowit, Craig Lindenmulder, or myself, Michael Rowland. And good luck. Thank you.